Joey, let's talk about the animal science books. Lots of people like to read those. Lots of people like to buy those.
It's the most popular thing in Chinese New Year, of course.
Okay, share with us a little bit of insight behind the scenes, if you like, on how exactly do these animal books get written? Are they accurate? Are they like, just for entertainment?
Sensitive question, but good question, of course. There are two ways to write this book. One way is to actually do the research. You look at the books like Hip Kei Pin Fong, you look at the Tin Sing, the Heavenly Stars maps, and actually find out where the star location are and actually do research and write it. That is the tedious approach, and less people do this. Or the other way is just to bullshit. Alright? I'm being very blunt here. Because a lot of times you see that a lot of these books simply write, for the sake of what? Commercial success. Because most of the time, the idea behind these books that people write is to sell certain things. Don't you notice that every animal sign, there's something bad, and to fix the bad thing, they have to buy something. Okay? What nonsense is this? So that is the other way of writing it, but it's also the popular way. Everywhere in Hong Kong and Taiwan, people have these sort of books. But less and less people today actually do research to actually write it because it's very tedious. There's no one computer software that you can just click at the click of a button and all the stars come out and then you can just write it. It's very hard. So there are two ways of writing the book. So is it accurate? I think you're asking that question right now. Well, of course, if you do the research and write it, it is more accurate. But it's not 100%. Now, of course, people will be saying, if it's not 100%, why am I even buying in the first place? Well, first of all, at least you will get 12.5% accuracy. Why 12.5% accuracy? Is because your animal sign is just 1 out of 8 characters in your astrology chart, your year, month, day, and hour. So because of that, you take 1 divided by 8 is 12.5%. At least you have that knowledge with you. And it's always good to be armed with this knowledge. At least you can prepare for yourself, what's going to be in store for you in the outlook for the year. Okay, if you want to be specific, hey, obviously you have to look at the year, month, day, and hour of your birth and relate the entire, your chart to the year's chart. Then you can find out exactly, down to about 80 to 90% exactly what's going to happen for you in that particular year. But then again, no astrology books out there for forecast on 12 animal signs can cover that because there basically is too many people. Okay? So people normally resort to easy writing because that's for commercial purposes. So you got to be careful.
But at the same time, obviously, because the annual books are based on the year pillar, and the year pillar obviously is the first thing that gets clashed by any opposing elements.
That's true. That's
Technically, it's not to say superfluous information either. You could get a lot out of it.
Because a lot of times people get that effect, that 12.5% that they really see, this is what you say in the book and it's accurate. It's only because what happens in the year pillar is the first thing that you will feel for the year. Everyone's party goes from the year, month, day to the hour. So anything that happens to the year, touches the year first is what you will feel first. It's the first point of contact for any year. That's why even in Feng Shui, we always give reference to the year of birth when we are doing Feng Shui, because Feng Shui is about external energies coming to your home. Alright, so when we talk about how the environment affects you, your house direction affects you, we got to look at your year as a reference. Whereas in astrology, in a actual astrology calculation, we have to look at the internal of a person, therefore we look at the day of birth, in couple with the hour, of course.
Okay. If you were asked, between having a horse in the year, the month, the day, or the hour, which is worse? Is there an answer for a question like that? Well,
not really. It's a different effects because a lot of people say that if you have horse, month, and day in the hour, then it's going to be a very bad year for you. Not necessarily, because you got to first find out what is horse to you. Different day masters will see the horse as a different 10 gods. Okay, you cannot just say just because there's a clash in your chart it's going to be bad. A clash basically means there will be some challenges, but then we all know that in order for us to succeed, we have to go through some form of challenges. Alright, when we succeed in conquering all these challenges, the final result is we have a new level. Okay, we go to a new level of achievement.
But of course, the horse and the rat is a more explosive sort of clash, right?
It is explosive in some way, but then explosive is also good. Because if, for example, you're stuck, right, you need a change. This will give you the kick in the behind to change.
Okay. Let's talk about incurring the wrath of the Tai Sui, because obviously this is the sort of thing which you hear people panicking, thinking, okay, I'm a rat, I'm facing the Grand Duke, I gotta go out and buy an ox, like soon, I gotta wear ox pendant, you know, I gotta have, you know, sort of like a bull in my office, that kind of thing. You know, really is the Tai Sui something that people need to be so stressed out about?
Of course not. You know, there's nothing you need to stress out about. The Tai Sui is basically a cosmological planetary position in relation to the planet Jupiter. Wearing a pendant or a bracelet or whatever, you know, trinkets that on your body is not going to, you know, evict it or chase it away. It's basically about a star that is affecting the person. All right? And plus, the Tai Sui is just an energy form. It does not mean that you will necessarily have bad luck, because it is the most vibrant chi of the year. All right? And it is in affecting your animal sign. Suddenly from a, you know, a weak frequency, suddenly you have a very strong frequency, and most people cannot take that imbalance. Most people can like fall ill or have minor injuries and stuff like that. Therefore, it is the older folks who should be careful of the clash of Tai Sui in the year. Younger people don't really need to worry. Maybe they have some temperamental issues, a little bit of argument, that's it. No major stuff. So don't really stress. Don't stress on the small stuff.
So if you're a rat, and it's the Grand Duke is the year of the rat, there's really no problem.
There is no problem, okay? The Grand Duke's star is in your life palace. That's it, all right? It does not mean that you have bad luck for the entire year just because you're a rat. There are 4 animal signs, however, that are affected in their own years, but that's not the rat. The horse, for example, in the horse year will have the Tai Sui problem because that's called a self-punishment. The pig in the pig year will have a problem, the rooster in the rooster year, and the dragon in the dragon year. Other than these 4, the rest of the 8 animal signs in their own years have got no issues.
Okay, let's talk about who's going to probably have not a great year. I mean, which of the 12?
The horse will be the one that is the least advantage in the year 2008, because the horse is in direct conflict with the rat in the year 2008. Therefore, it is the horse.
Everybody, the other guys, who else?
Well, there are those who are associated with the horse. Now you see, because you're born near the rat, dragon, and monkey is one group. Therefore, you are partners with the boss of the year. So normally, dragon and monkey in a rat year is good. So what's the opposition party? Okay, these are the opposition leaders. So you have the tiger, the horse, and the dog as the opposition group. So these 3 generally are disadvantaged. Okay, and which one is the worst? The leader of the group. Which one is the opposition leader? The horse. Therefore, this amongst the 3, the horse is the weakest.